It's been a little more than a month now since the announcement that the government of Palestine would end a long-time standoff with Hamas and that the two entities would form a partnership. It's put a lot of countries in a very tough position, stuck between wanting to help the Palestinian government while shunning its new partner's actions. As our national correspondent Christine Frizzell reports, one of the questions being raised now is whether the U.S. is supporting terrorism.
Continued violence in the Middle East is bringing a renewed call for U.S. leaders to stop the supply of money to the Palestinian Authority. With last month's announcement of a unity government between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, some in Washington have suggested financial support to the tune of about $400 million a year means U.S. taxpayers are indirectly funding terrorism. Journalist and author Edwin Black wrote a book on the subject.
It's not that we're indirectly funding Palestinian terror. We are directly funding it. We are actually providing the fuel to finance these flames.
Black says members of Hamas are paid for killing people or bombing sites in Israel.
The more people you kill, the more money you make.
And that money, he says, comes from U.S. taxpayers.
Even though the U.S. continues to designate Hamas as a terrorist organization, the State Department did recognize the new government, at least initially, after assurances by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas that the government would follow a course of nonviolence.
It's simply false to say that this is a terrorist government.
Matthew Duss is about to take over as president at the Foundation for Middle East Peace.
The government that was formed meets the conditions of U.S. law, which is that the actual ministers who are appointed, who are unaffiliated with Hamas and do themselves agree to the three conditions laid out.
Those three conditions are the recognition of Israel, no support for terrorism, and honoring past commitments. But Edwin Black suggests those agreements have already been violated and that there's a direct connection between the funding and the fighting.
Unless we stop the money now, there will be continued violence because this is being done for money. This is being done for recognition by Hamas.
Money, of course, flows from the U.S. to both Israel and Palestine, an unstable region that continues to get financial help, courtesy of the U.S. taxpayer. I'm Christine Frizzell, News Channel 9.
The latest round of violence comes as Secretary of State John Kerry considers a trip to the region. His visit could help usher in a dose of diplomacy to lay the groundwork for a possible ceasefire.